Good Monday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And I'll tell you what, folks, today the start of just an unbelievably warm week ahead for the early part of May as we look down at the beautiful Wenatchee Valley from our cross camera. That's in Wenatchee Heights and our Sky-Fi Tower camera. A few clouds out there today, but awfully mild temperatures. We were at least 10 degrees above where we should be for this time of year, and that's just going to go up, folks. Each day this week, we will see a little bit of a tick up in temperatures, mostly sunny skies throughout the week ahead. Warming temperatures, as I mentioned, we're starting off today in the mid to upper 70s. We're going to go into the 80s and then maybe even 90 degrees as we get into this weekend on Saturday. Yeah, that's no joke. We might see 90 degrees, and we'll bring you all of those weather details coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Wenatchee police say a man suspected of prowling cars at Riverfront Park tried to evade capture by running into the Columbia River over the weekend. Security at Moses Lake High School was stepped up this morning after a student made online threats warning other students not to show up for classes. And firefighters in the Lake Chelan area responded to a pre-dawn house fire on Saturday. But first, we begin tonight. A plane crashed into an orchard this morning near Lake Chelan Airport, killing the pilot. Chelan County Sheriff's Captain Jason Reinfeld said the cause of the crash is under investigation.
About 6:30 this morning, the deputies were dispatched to a plane crash in the vicinity of the Chelan Airport. I believe it was at or near an orchard. And the crash had resulted in a fire, and I believe there was only one occupant in the plane, and it was a fatality crash. After the fire crews were done, Chelan County Sheriff's Office deputies secured the scene and just held it for NTSB to investigate the crash.
Wenatchee police say a man suspected of prowling cars at Riverfront Park tried to evade capture by running into the Columbia River. The man was arrested after about an hour over the weekend and hour and a half in a standoff with police. Reinfeld says the suspect, who was also wanted on a warrant out of Western Washington, was acting erratically and appeared to be under the influence of drugs. Police waited for him to come on shore on his own before making the arrest.
They walked away after a bit, but hung out in the area. He came back out of the water, and they ended up chasing him down, tried to make the arrest on the warrant. He fought vigorously, ended up being tased during the process.
Reinfeld says the man was taken to Central Washington Hospital for treatment and evaluation. He said charges are pending blood toxicology results. Well, security at Moses Lake High School was stepped up this morning after a student made online threats warning other students not to show up for classes. Moses Lake police, working with parents, arrested a high school student for making the threats, the school district said. Still, extra officers were at the high school this morning. The school district advised parents to talk with their children about school safety and the importance, if they see something, say something. The nature of the threats was not released. Well, firefighters in the Lake Chelan area responded to a pre-dawn house fire on Saturday. Chief Tim Lemon with Chelan County Fire District 7 said the blaze was located at a residence in the Sunny Banks Road area. He said the house was fully involved when crews arrived in the 3 a.m. hour. He says 2 of the home's occupants were able to escape. The home was a total loss, and the fire also reportedly burned 6 vehicles on that property. The cause was under investigation. Coming up next, the waiting game continues in Leavenworth for a ruling on the future of the controversial adventure theme park. Construction is scheduled to start this month on a new skate park in Wenatchee. And despite numerous efforts to save it, the historic Horan House was turned into a pile of rubble this morning. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Dear Merry Maids, please clean the kitchen, and the cabinets, and the floors, and the chairs. And I wish you could clean the dog. Colin is now feeding himself. Thanks, Megan.
Hi, Megan. No worries. We got it all cleaned up. Let's hope Colin gets past the spaghetti flinging stage soon. Till then, we've got you covered. See you next time. Merry Maids.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Welcome back. In another news, the waiting game continues in Leavenworth for a ruling on the future of the controversial adventure theme park. Park opponents turned out in big numbers at last week's public hearing to share their concerns about the possible impacts on traffic, parking, and noise. Dwayne Gaynor with the group Friends of Leavenworth said he was encouraged by that large turnout.
Community is very much about the outdoor recreation, natural recreation, without sort of the commercialization. And although we certainly value the Bavarian theme of our town, we don't want to become just simply an adventure park theme place.
The proposed 10-acre park would include an alpine coaster and other attractions on a hillside at Icicle Road and Highway 2. After numerous objections last summer, developer John Sutherland withdrew, then resubmitted his application. With numerous mitigation requirements, it has cleared most city and state environmental hurdles. Construction is scheduled to start this month on a new skate park in Wenatchee. The project is designed by local skaters and Grind Line and should be completed and ready to skate by the end of July. Funding for the $279,000 project is coming from State Recreation Conservation Office and Washington Wildlife and Recreation Program, as well as Federal Land and Water Conservation Fund grants. The final phase of park construction includes restrooms, play equipment, picnic shelter, additional landscaping, and security cameras will get underway next spring. Well, despite numerous efforts to save it, the historic Horan House was turned into a pile of rubble this morning. Demolition crews knocked down the home and are now busy hauling away the pieces. The Victorian-style home and former restaurant on the banks of the Wenatchee River was built back in 1899 by Wenatchee pioneer Michael Horan. Owner Nevio Tontino had worked with Port of Chelan County Commissioner Rory Turner on ideas for preserving and moving the house to another location, but its rundown conditions made that cost prohibitive. Tortini and Turner and Horan family members Beth Dobbs are now working on efforts to preserve the memory of the home, including a possible display at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center and a trail along the river with public access. The property is expected to be purchased by Chelan County PUD as part of its move to Old Station. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
At some point, we realized that value and practicality go hand in hand. A time when an unnoticed accumulation of items has become burdensome. These possessions still have value, but now lack usefulness. Donate your unwanted items to Goodwill and become a job creator. Your donations allow Goodwill to provide much-needed training to job seekers in our community, and that's pretty useful for everyone. Be a job creator. Donate. Goodwill. There's more behind the store.
Moving doesn't have to be back-breaking, stressful work. And I don't want you to make a move that way ever again.
Traditionally, you would rent a truck. You would load up your stuff. You would rent a storage unit. You would transport it. And finally, you would unload your stuff yourself. You don't have to lift a finger. We bring the mobile storage unit to you, we drop it off, then one of our trusted packers can load it for you. We come pick it up and store it securely for you. We bring it back to you. No hassle, no stress.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. This week is National Nurses Week, and to celebrate nurses on the NCWLIFE Evening News, we're tagging along on this week's magazine as producer Caitlin Hedersheet sits down with 3 local nurses to learn more about their passions in the industry. Tonight we begin with a little history behind National Nurses Week.
Declared in 1993, May 6th through May 12th is a week to celebrate the more than 4 million registered nurses in the profession in the United States and recognize their vast contributions to healthcare nationwide. National Nurses Week ends on May 12th, which is Florence Nightingale's birthday. If you haven't heard the name before, Florence Nightingale is known as the pioneer of modern nursing after she worked to help wounded and sick soldiers in the 1850s during the Crimean War. Have you heard the name Lady with the Lamp? That's Florence. She earned this name because she would visit soldiers at night with a small lantern in her hand. Nightingale established the first scientifically based nursing school in 1860, the Nightingale School of Nursing at St. Thomas Hospital in London. In honor of Florence and all nurses this week, I took time to sit down with 3 nurses in the Wenatchee Valley, each in different stages of their career. From learning the basics to managing the daily stress in the hospital to caring for inmates in the Chelan County Jail, North Central Washington is home to many different nursing specialties. To start this episode off, we'll catch up with Karina Alvarez, a young nursing student from East Wenatchee who is set to graduate from Wenatchee Valley College this June. Seeing a need to help fill the gap in minority nurses, Karina says her family gave her the push she needed to get on the college track.
I think specifically what happened for me to pursue college in general was my parents. They always inspired me. So my parents immigrated from Mexico to the United States, and they always were telling me about their experiences in Mexico and some of the sacrifices they had to make. Like, they were not in school, they had to drop out of school, and they were working as children, these hard labor jobs. So they came to the United States and raised my siblings and I, and here they were telling us, step outside of your comfort zone, pursue your dream and your career. So they really inspired me to go to college in the first place. So nursing school in general is very difficult. It's a difficult process. It's a difficult once you're in nursing school. And something that keeps driving me to pursue that is I remind myself what my long-term goals are, and I remind myself that I'm not only doing this for myself, but for my family. I want to be that role model for my siblings. I have 3 older siblings and 1 younger sibling, and I want to be that role model to them where we can pursue higher education and we have this opportunity. So to me, that's what keeps motivating me to keep going and to conquer these battles, because long term I do want to be a nurse and make a difference in my community and for my family as well. Something that I found surprising with nursing is how vulnerable and emotional it can be. For example, I recently had an experience during my clinical shift where I was working with a family and in pediatrics, and the 2-year-old patient actually ended up passing away, and that experience was very difficult for me, and luckily I had the resources available for me, like speaking to my clinical instructor and to a counselor about the situation, but it was very difficult, and I guess I didn't make the connection that nurses are there for 12 hours with these patients and they see it all, they see the whole picture, and that is difficult. But what keeps me going with nursing is that I want to be there for them during these difficult moments, and I want to help them through these moments and educating them on the resources available, and just being able to hold their hand during these times can really make a difference.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. But before we get to those details, let's take a peek outside our weather window. Sky-Fi Tower camera today coming to you from Wenatchee Heights, and our cross camera. And look at this beautiful shot of the Wenatchee Valley. A few mid and high level clouds out there today, but wasn't it a beautiful day? And how about the parade weather on Saturday for the Grand Parade? Apple Blossom couldn't have been nicer. Temperatures in the lower to mid 70s. We were even better than that today. We got pretty warm. Normal high temperatures, remember, only 68 degrees. Unofficially, we got to 78 and might even go a little bit higher than that after the newscast. 47 our low temperature this morning, and that's pretty much where we should be for this time of year at 46 degrees. Record high was back in 1992 at 93 degrees. Record low back in 2002 at 33 degrees. Boy, it's been a while since we've seen any measurable precipitation, at least a month or so. So we've been pretty much stuck on 3.13 inches for the year so far in the Wenatchee Valley. Sunrise this morning 5:37, and the sun will set tonight at 8:19. Now let's put that surface loop in motion and show you what we can expect. And it's just nice. What can I say? Tonight, mostly clear skies. We will see a light northwest wind out there. This area of high pressure will be our weather driver over the next 5 to about 7 days or so. That means a nice day for Tuesday as well. Notice our isobars, our lines of pressure a little bit closer together, so we could see just a little bit of wind for Tuesday, but it will warm up probably into the lower 80s for Tuesday. Even warmer than that probably on Wednesday with a light wind out there, mostly sunny skies. There's that area of high pressure. Once again, a clockwise rotation around that. Here it gets elongated. It starts up in the north part of British Columbia and goes all the way down the Pacific. Sunny skies for Thursday and warm, and then it really regenerates and gets some power to it. High pressure bringing us even warmer weather for Friday. Not a cloud in sight for the entire state of Washington, as well as most of the inland Northwest. Saturday, yeah, we're going to call it hot because we might just see 90 degrees on Saturday. I think folks in the Palouse and over into the Spokane area will see 90 degrees, maybe even a little bit warmer than that on Saturday. And as we move into Sunday, Mother's Day should be just fantastic. Sunny, and we will continue with unseasonably warm weather. Not much wind to speak of and no clouds either. It should be a beautiful weekend ahead. Let's take a look now at your quick Lube Tune forecast. 52 beautiful degrees for our overnight low tonight, 83 for your high on Tuesday. Looks like we'll stick at about 83 for Wednesday, mid 80s as well for Thursday, and then look what happens on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 87 your high on Friday, 89 for Saturday, so I chickened out, not quite 90 degrees for Saturday. That could change for tomorrow's evening news, but look at the low temperatures as well, all the way up into the upper 50s. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's Sports Report with Eric Granstom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
If you want to work in healthcare, choose the program that teaches the skills employers want. The Charter College Medical Assistant Program combines hands-on learning in the lab with convenient online learning, plus real-life experience with an externship. Classes start every 5 weeks, so you don't have to wait to launch your new career. Enroll with confidence, knowing Charter is institutionally accredited by the Accrediting Bureau of Health Education Schools, and be ready to work in less than a year. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you. Highlander Golf Course is proud to announce their 2 new state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulators with over 80 courses of virtual golf to choose from year-round. Or try their Laser Shot simulated firearm program, or gaming with football, basketball, and much more. Enjoy Highlander food and drink service from their full-service bar and grill in the comfort of their simulator room. Call the Highlander Pro Shop to book your time at 884-4653. That's 884-4653.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Monday to you. Wow, it's weird being indoors. We were outside for a week. Hope you had a good apple blossom. Let's take a look at what happened in sports news starting back on Friday. Wenatchee and Eastmont soccer teams both advanced in their district play-in games on Friday. The Wenatchee Panthers close to scoring a goal here, but they would score 4 in the contest to knock off Moses Lake by a final of 4-2 to advance to tomorrow's first-round district playoff game. They'll be on the road at Sunnyside. Wildcats, meanwhile, earned a 2-1 victory over Davis to also advance in the first round of the district tournament. Now, the District 6 1A tournament on Friday saw Chelan and Cashmere advance to next round. The Goats edged Tenasket 2-1, while the Bulldogs beat Manson 4-1. So here is what's on tap tomorrow and what it looks like for the prep soccer playoffs. Wenatchee travels to Sunnyside for a 6 o'clock kickoff. Eastmont will be at West Valley and will also kick off at 6. In the District 6 1A tournament, Cashmere plays at Bridgeport at 4:30, while Cascade hosts Chelan also at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. Well, as we turn our attention from the soccer at Lieboftel Field to baseball, here's what it looked like for those that were there at the Apple Bowl. And you got to watch soccer on one side and baseball on the other. As we turn our attention from Lieboftel Field to the baseball complex at Recreation Park, here's what happened there.
Hey, John.
Well, that was highlights from Game 1. Things started off well for Wenatchee as the Panthers beat Eisenhower 9-3 in the first game of that doubleheader. Coach Jeff Zender was pleased with his club's performance.
Oh, it was a good game. Jared Rubash sparked us coming out, throwing the ball really well, spotting up his fastball, and really hitting that curveball. So they had a tough time hitting it, and took a couple innings for the bats to get rolling. Put a few together, and ended up with 13 hits and 7 runs, and just a good win. A good win. We needed that after last Tuesday.
Yeah, they fell on Tuesday and also would fall in the second game of that doubleheader. Ike would go on for the 5-4 win. So let's take a look at that Les Schwab scoreboard here. Meanwhile, the team Wenatchee's been battling for in second place in the Big Nine standings was across the river playing at Eastmont. Davis came out on top in both of those games, 11-7 and 12-5. So the Pirates finished the season second, Wenatchee third in the Big Nine standings. Now also on Friday it was Chelan sweeping Connell 21-6 and 17-1, and Kai B beat Cascade by a final of 10-2. The District 6 1A tournament starts actually this afternoon. It's underway right now. Cashmere hosting Cascade in a loser-out game. Tomorrow is the Big Nine District play-in games with Wenatchee hosting West Valley at 5. Eastmont's on the road at Eisenhower also at 5 o'clock. Both the Panthers and Wildcats in must-win situations if they want their seasons to continue. Also on the Les Schwab prep scoreboard from the softball ranks on Friday, Eastmont swept Davis 18-0 and 14-4. Wenatchee split a twin bill with Eisenhower, falling in the opener 15-12, but winning the nightcap 14-8. Cascade had no trouble with Cashmere, knocking off the Bulldogs 13-2, and Okanagan shut down Chelan by a final of 12-1. Well, the Seahawks wrapped up a rookie minicamp Sunday at the VMAC in Renton. Coach Pete Carroll says it was a productive 3 days for the coaching staff to get a first-hand look at their 11 draft picks, 12 undrafted rookie free agents, and more than 40 tryout players.
We really had a really fun weekend watching these guys do their thing, show where they fit in and where they have a chance to try to figure into this roster. Saw really good stuff in the draft picks. We're really pleased with the way they learned and picked things up. their conditioning level was adequate for this work right now. We got a ways to go, but so they reported in pretty good shape. Unfortunately, the two receivers that have hamstrings that are just of concern. We just didn't want to push it on the weekend. We want to give that some more time. That's for Ursula and Gary Jennings. But everybody else did real nice stuff, and it was very competitive as much as we can be under the rules that we have, and we learned a lot.
Next up for the Hawks will be OTAs as they go through the month of May. Also a mandatory minicamp coming up June 11th through the 13th. 94 days until Seattle's first preseason game against the Denver Broncos August 8th. Well, the Mariners finally snapped a 6-game losing streak Sunday by downing the Cleveland Indians 10-0. Eric Swanson and 3 relievers held the Tribe to just 2 hits on the day. In fact, Swanson carried a no-hitter into the 6th. He gave up a double. That was his only base hit given up in 6 innings worth of work. 3 strikeouts to go with it. Seattle got the offense going early with a grand slam home run by Jay Bruce in the first. Edwin Encarnacion and Mitch Haniger also left the yard. Seattle kept from falling to the 500 mark. Mariners now head to New York to begin a 4-game series with the Yankees. It's Geritol Day at the park. 33-year-old Felix Hernandez taking on 38-year-old CC Sabathia here this afternoon. That's Sports News. I'm Eric Granstom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. The 100th Washington State Apple Blossom Festival is now in the books. The NCWLIFE channel was proud to once again bring you live, complete coverage of the Youth Parade, Classy Chassis, and Grand Parade. As we leave you tonight, here's a look at how we, as a group, made it all happen. Thank you to everyone that made all the parades possible and who was not pictured. My director right over there, Uriah Darby, who put that story together and was also there every day helping us out with all the live newscasts as well, all last week from Memorial Park, and it was great talking to all of you. We're going to do it again next year. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
NCW Life Channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's learn. Guada TV. Street Talk and other stuff. The 12th District. Life with Lisa. and the arbiter of Stoke. NCWLIFE Channel is your local TV station.
Hi, I'm Clayton Walker, General Manager at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Wenatchee, and I'd like to invite everyone to the dealership to see how easy it is to buy your next new or pre-owned vehicle at your local dealership.
And I'm Mick Fabian, General Sales Manager, and we currently have a huge selection of new and pre-owned vehicles on the lot to choose from, including the 2019 Motor Trend Truck and SUV of the Year.
So come on down to town and let us earn your business in 2019 at 1001 North Miller Street in Wenatchee.